Hey, Alyssa.
Hi.
Okay, saw that Colby joined another meeting. I'm going to try to reach out and see if I can start that one. I probably joined an old meeting. Hmm, let me yeah, I can't get into that one. I'm going to see if I can email Colby. Oh, there's Colby. I saw that you joined the wrong meeting there, Colby. I just sent you an email. I can't hear you. Colby, you need to let me see if I can unmute you here.
Hello?
Colby, there
Hello?
you go. Hey, you joined the right one.
Yeah.
We almost missed you there. I sent you an email.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait a minute or two just to see if anybody else joins. I see Max there, Peyton, Andrew.
Mr. Alvarez.
Mac,
Yes, sir.
hey, how you doing?
Hey, can we can
Glad
we
to see
talk?
you there.
Can we talk after class?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
I don't know if any of you noticed, but I just posted the final project. Trinity's on. I'm gonna wait another minute or two. And then what I'm gonna do with this session is I'm gonna go through the requirements of the final. It's posted, but I wanted to see, make sure that things are clear. You guys have 2 weeks, well, almost 2 weeks. It's due on the 12th, which is this Sunday, but you have until the 15th to get it in. Just gonna wait another minute or two here to see if anybody else joins before I start. Any questions about the redo? You know that you guys can go back and redo one of the assignments that you got a low grade on. So definitely take advantage of that. If you have a low grade or you missed the assignment, you can redo that assignment and actually get it into me. So I know that if one or two of you have missed assignments, so this is a great time to be, without any penalty, to be able to reverse that 0 and get a good grade. Okay. This week also, I should have week 12 and 13 assignments graded this week so that you guys will be clean, and the only thing really you'll have to do is just a final, and then you'll see how, whatever recommendations I made for 12 and 13 so that you guys can actually use that with the with your final project. Okay, all right. Do we have, does anyone have any questions at this point before I start to go into the final project? Any questions about anything in the past? Any other assignments or anything like that? Any questions? Have you guys been utilizing Trinity? I hope you guys have for anything that's going on in the class. Any questions about that? Okay. All right. So the final's out. You guys can actually start doing it as of today. It's going to encompass what you guys have been working on already, which is your real estate website. So you're going to basically take your real estate website, the last version that you have, okay, and then you're going to read the directions in terms of what this final project is. Okay, you're going to create a new project, but using what you've already created before with week 13. Okay, and I'm just going to go over the directions. HTML forms and CSS styling. Implement HTML forms to collect user information. Search criteria. So I know that some of you have already put in search, but it wasn't really working very well. So I would add something into the search, but then I wouldn't get any results or anything out of it. So your results have to work this time. Actually, your website has to work. So your search criteria and property listings. So you have to have listings of your properties, kind of like the way you guys have been doing it with, putting in pictures, descriptions, and things like that of your listings. But then when you go to search, there should be a list of the properties as well. And then I could pick one, and then I go directly to that one. Okay. You should be utilizing CSS for all your styling forms, ensuring consistency with visual appeal throughout the website. So your website should be pretty much uniform. So if you have a background for your initial first page, that should be really the background for all your pages for your website. All the sites should have a top menu. So the menu that you guys use for your initial website, for your index.html, that needs to exist in all of your pages so that you're able to go to all the pages of your website easy. Doesn't make sense to have a menu for your first page, then you go to that other page, and that page, you have to use the back key to get to your initial first page. So that menu needs to exist in all your pages. Points will be subtracted for style commands located on your web page. All your style commands need to be in that CSS file. And every page has to go to that CSS file to get the style commands, which means the background color, the background look, the basic style of what your website is going to look should reside within that CSS file. So if you guys have been doing kind of half and half, or you've been not doing it at all, you haven't figured out, still, you guys got to figure that out. You're going to get points deducted if I see style elements in your web page. Your basic JavaScript commands and formatting. So you can use your JavaScript to format the web pages dynamically using the query information and email addresses. So that's mostly going to apply towards your contact forms and your search. I'm looking for at least 3 modules or 3 elements of JavaScript within your website. Doesn't have to exist in every page, but wherever you, I mean, it could be in one of the contact forms. Like some of you have actually taken, you've done your JavaScript so that it actually checks to make sure when I'm entering information like the first name, last name, and then you're collecting the email address. And what I've done is that I'll put, an incorrect email address. Well, some of you have actually used JavaScript to autocorrect or at least give me a message saying, you need to enter your correct email address in there. So at least it checks. That's an instance. That's a good instance of using JavaScript. So if you can at least give me 3 instances throughout your website that you use JavaScript and it worked, you're good to go. You need to have a responsive design and media queries. So use already existing website, which I've already mentioned, to design at your website has to be at least 10 pages, okay? With viewports suitable for mobile devices, which means that if you resize the browser, all the elements need to begin to resize, okay? Because not everybody is going to use your website from a computer. They may use it on on a phone or on an iPad. So it needs to have that flexibility of things kind of readjusting themselves. That's kind of how I test to make sure that you've got that element in there. And most of you have it. So most of you have done a great job with that. Responsive images. Incorporate at least 5 responsive images using appropriate HTML attributes or CSS techniques to ensure optimal display on various devices. Again, when I move the browser, the images actually change to accommodate the size of the browser. Most of you have done that. Fantastic work. Also, some of you have even used some JavaScript so that when the mouse actually goes over an image, the image resizes, gets a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. That's a good use of JavaScript. And actually that's for me would be number 2. So that's fantastic. All these little elements and changes that you've made to your website, make sure that you include that in your Word doc, because that's the first thing I do. I read your Word document to see what elements I should be looking for, or what changes and what cool stuff you guys have added. So your Word document should contain, the write-up with appropriate paragraphs and sentences within it, nicely, tailored, and tell me what your website's about. What are the neat features that it has? Also tell me some issues that you guys have been having. You actually took some of that and you worded, that you spent 10 hours on it and you had, it took, sometimes a long time to get things done. I want to hear about that. I want to, see that in your Word doc. Your Word doc should only include that. It should not include code. I don't want to see HTML in your Word doc. Your HTML should be in the file .html, and that should be in your zip file. So that should be with all your stuff, all your pictures, videos, all that stuff should be its own file or subfolders within your zip file. Bootstrap framework integration. Integrate Bootstrap framework to enhance responsiveness and streamline development. Some of you guys have done a fantastic job doing that as well. So utilize Bootstrap components and utilities for your layout, your styling, and interactive elements. So make sure you have at least a couple of pages. I would say 2 or 3 pages with Bootstrap. Not every page has to have the Bootstrap stuff. As long as you're using it and I see that you know how to use it, you're pretty much good to go with me. Your search functionality. You need to implement a working search function that allows users to search your property listings based on criteria such as the home type, the type of home. Is it a single family home? Is it a townhome? Is it a ranch? Is it a colonial? I mean, give me at least 3 or 4 examples, within your search criteria. The location. Some of you have given me maps and showed me exactly where the locations of the properties are. Fantastic. I love that. Great job on those. Number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and garage capacity. Is it a, 2-car garage, 1-car garage, 4-car garage, stuff like that. And that's it. Just those couple of search criteria. We don't have to go nuts. JavaScript mapping, classes, web storage, canvas drawing, transformations, and animation. You don't have to give me all of that. I'll make sure that there are at least 3 of those in all of your website. It could be a canvas drawing, it could be the JavaScript mapping, it could be classes, it could be animation. I love the animation you guys have done. Some of you have done with like a little truck going by. Really, really cool. Loved it. Make sure that there are at least 3 of those combos throughout your website, and make sure that you write it down in your Word document, okay? Make sure that it's in the Word doc, so that I can look for it and where I'm going to look for it. And then for extra credit, if you guys have done through and you've read the PHP and you install the PHP and installed MySQL, that's an extra 25 points. So if you decide not to do it, you just want to do all the other stuff, and you get 100 on everything, well then, it's 200 points, right? The extra credit is 25. So the max you could get on this project is 225. The normal stuff would be 200. So optionally, if you implemented PHP functionality to access a MySQL database, which has to be local. So I'll go into the MySQL database that you created, and I'll check to see whether you're storing the customer's information, first name, last name, email address. Doesn't have to be a lot of stuff, just the basic things that are in your form. So if you guys are actually saving that to a MySQL database, I mean, even if you at least just save it, I'll give you the full 25 points. If you could save it and pull it up, I mean, if you get all of this, I may even give you additional points. How's that? So, see what you guys can do. You have almost 2 weeks to get it done. And, and then I go on to basically spell out what you need to submit, right? Use your existing real estate website that you guys have been developing your whole semester. Make sure that it's complete, functional. If you have something in there that's not, one of the things that I've noticed that, I'll take your website, your index.html, and I'll bring it up, and something as simple as a picture doesn't come up, and it's because in the HTML, you may have put the picture in a folder and you didn't specify the folder, so none of the pictures show up. I didn't deduct points for that before, but for this final project, I am going to deduct points if your picture or your video does not show up. One of the things that I would recommend is once you guys get it done and it looks good, take the zip file, give it to your friend of yours, and let them bring it up and see if all the pictures come up, if it's functional, if the videos are coming up, because some of the URL links that you guys put in, some of that is not working either. So you'll put a URL maybe going back to YouTube and it doesn't work. For whatever reason, it's giving me an error where the video should play. So give it to someone, make sure that it works. So test. Make sure that it looks good, it looks professional. Again, this is something that I'm hoping that you guys are going to take. If you have a web development job that you're going for, or a web designer job you're going for, you can give them the zip file and you can say, hey, I created this, and it'll show that you at least know the basics, and if you can include PHP and MySQL, I'll be honest with you, that's, if you could, because I was a manager in the past. Okay, if I had anybody giving me a zip file that had that stuff in it, they got the job. So that's the basics of most of what you need to do for a website. If you could at least get all that done, you guys are well on your way to becoming a pretty decent web designer, web developer. So the interaction, make sure, again, stuff works. Interaction of interactive features using basic Java commands, incorporation of the related images and videos throughout the website, and make sure that they work to showcase the properties, make sure it looks nice. It's not kind of jaggy. Make sure that you don't have different fonts, like one page will have one kind of font, the other page has different sizes and different, fonts. It just doesn't look good. I'll make sure everything is uniform. And again, points are going to be deducted for non-working parts like JavaScript, forms, videos, images, search functionality that needs to work, and web page style commands. If I see you're going to lose points because I look at the code. I look at every page and I look at the code of every page. If I see style commands on your web page not coming from your CSS file, you're going to lose points. It has to be 10 or more pages. Okay, your site should be 10 or more pages, including the videos, the pictures, everything. Again, you need to use CSS style sheets for the whole site. Your JavaScript files containing code for page formatting and everything needs to work. I only need to see three iterations of that. Everything needs to be responsive. Integration of Bootstrap framework into some of the components and some of the pages, not everywhere. Working search functionality, allowing users to search property listings on specified criteria. And then, of course, the optional PHP files for database access. And that's if you have time. Leave that for the end. Make sure that everything else works. And if you have a little bit of time left and you think you could get the PHP stuff and the MySQL working, then work on that. But work on everything else first. Make sure everything works. Okay. I see that Evie joined us and John. And everything has to be in a zip file. So what I expect when I'm going to pull up your final project is the Word doc, okay, which is going to tell me what I'm going to see, all right? And then a zip file. So two files, your Word doc and then your zip file, which contains your website. That's what I expect to see. Any questions? That's a lot of stuff. Hopefully it shouldn't take you a ton of time because a lot of the things that I'm asking for, you've pretty much done or you should have done on your website, given up to this point. There are some additional tweaking and some extra functionality. Some of you already have given me a search function. It just didn't work very well. So I'm expecting this time it needs to work. And the only really big stuff would be the PHP and the MySQL, and that's extra. Any questions? Come on, guys, give me some questions here. And there will be a mandatory meeting next week as well. FYI.
Sorry, I might have missed it. Could you go over the search function one more time?
Okay. Okay, the search functionality. Implement a working, and I'm just reading this from, it's the final project is out there, Evelyn. Implement a working search function, allowing users to search property listings. So I know that you all have put your properties on a web page and you've listed, you got a picture, then you've got the details about the property. But when you go to the search, when I try to look for a search, it needs to be able to have all those listings in there as well. So if I say, I'm going to search and it lists the criteria. So I'm going to search by home type, location, number of bedrooms, bathrooms, and garage capacity. So if it's 2-car garage, 1-car garage, 4-car garages, no car, it doesn't have a garage at all. So it should search by those criteria. So if I go in as a customer and I want, all the listings that you have that have 2-car garages, it should only show me on your page or in a list, okay? Either way you guys want to do it, the only your listings with 2-car garages. Okay, and then I should be able to pick one. And then at least move to that one, or show me, you know, a message with that one, or show me, or just show me a page with just that one. It's best thing to do is just do a map and actually just take me to that one, you know, or take me to the first one that's a 2-car garage. Okay. When I select it.
Thank you.
Okay, and that stuff, it needs to work. So if there's something in there that you guys are kind of playing with and you really didn't get it to work that well, take it out. Just take it out, because it's why lose points, you know? It just doesn't make sense. Make sure that everything you have in there works. Because again, I'm hoping that this is, you know, and yeah, you know, you guys will be able to take this and actually make it more fancy after, you know, after the course is over, and even add additional stuff. Because literally this course just gives you believe it or not, we're actually only doing the basics here. I know it seems like a lot of stuff, you know, with PHP and MySQL, CSS style sheets, HTML. Believe me that this is only the basic stuff. You know, we can have a whole other course on SQL, on servers, on getting information and formatting it so that it comes back. There's another course that would be on security, how to secure your website so that other people can do SQL injections and all kinds of other stuff. We are just doing the very basic here. So it should at least just have a search, have a form that you collect data, show information to people, be able to access stuff from YouTube, show videos, you know, all the cutesy stuff. Make it at least functional, okay? Any other additional questions?
Mr. Alvarez, I had needed to talk to you after
Oh yeah.
class.
Well, you have any questions for anything that I've said now?
No, sir.
Okay, so we'll talk after.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Any questions about the project? Any concerns?
With like, I just want to know like that what I've submitted is okay, you know, like to
From
like
what I've seen, yes, you're good.
okay.
One of the things that I did mention, Evelyn, was that I will this week. There's only 2 projects that I haven't graded, 12 and 13. They'll be graded this week. So
Okay,
at
yeah,
least, yeah, so you'll be able to go back and see what I've said for the last 2 things. But remember, the last 2 weeks have basically been 12 was formatting, right? You know, so that when you move the browser, everything kind of shifted around and self-adjusted so that, you know, multiple, you know, like people with phones or iPads can see your webpage nicely. And then you took that and you incorporated that stuff into your week 13, right? So I'm going to grade that. That should be pretty quick. So what you've done, what I would do is take your week 13 project and start with that. Okay. And then as I grade the, you know, 13, 12 and 13, well, really 13. And if I said, you know, if I said you should make these changes, make sure that you make those changes in your final project. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Any other questions? Really? Nothing? All right. We'll have another mandatory meeting next Monday, and then I'll see how you guys are doing. And then as I see final projects coming in, I'll be grading those on the fly. So that's pretty much it. And again, if you have any questions or anything at all, I will try to get back to you within 48 hours. Okay. So I'm going to I'll make sure that, you guys get a response right away. And congratulations on the exam. Everyone that I've seen that has taken the exam has done extremely well. So fantastic. Way to go there. Okay, guys, if there's no other questions, I'll see you next week.